Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's live readings. I'm here live doing readings, and the first thing you want to do if you are watching this is make sure we are still live. If you are trying to book and the booking doesn't work, usually that's because the live is already finished, and so that is why. So yes. Okay, and I'm just realizing I need to share the link here, so give me just 1 second. Say hey, say hello in the chat if you're just jumping on while I finish this really quick and get everything situated. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's make sure, there we go. Okay, so if you're here, say hello, make sure everything's working. I see that there's a few of you jumping on. And tonight's live is an Ask a Question. It's an Ask a Question, so that means that you can ask me a question about your chart. So the kinds of questions you can ask are, people ask for like an energy report. Sometimes people ask for energy reports. They want to know about a certain area of life or what's going on at a certain point in the future. Keep in mind, I don't do fortune telling questions, so you can't do questions that are like, will this thing happen? Will I be famous? Will this happen? You know, because usually it's not like that, right? Astrology isn't like that. But yeah, if you're hearing you're jumping on, make sure you leave me a comment and say hello. And I will be just checking the sound really quick. Okay, yeah, so we're good. And I have a link to give you guys too. Okay. The link is now in the chat. And so the way these live readings work, just in case you haven't been to one of these yet, is that you can book using the link that I just put in the chat. And let me make sure it works. That's not it. Darn it. 1 second. Live question. Should be live question. Okay, so I'm getting the link situated, and then we'll get going with some live readings. Let me know in a comment, is this your first live? Have you been to one of these before? Well, I do this. Remove. And so you can book here. All right. Okay, so we have the link pinned to the top of the chat. It's there. And you can book using that link. And if you don't want to book, you can stay and hang out and watch other people, because what happens is people will jump on, they'll book a reading, and then I will start reading their chart, and then people get excited, and then more people start booking. And this one's in the evening, so it might be more popular. I don't usually do these in the evenings. So it's like special. And so, so that's how it works. And then the first person to book is the first person that I read. And then we just keep going until I close it down. The kinds of questions you can ask, if you're curious about that, you can ask something like, what are my blocks? You can ask something like, what stands out to you in my chart, right? If you've never had a reading with me, if you've already had a reading with me, you can ask something a little bit more around timing, like what is now a good time for? How do I resolve X problem right now? What's causing X problem? That's actually a really good one to ask, is like, what's causing this stress in this area of life? Because sometimes I can just go right to the planet and tell you, and that doesn't just tell you what planet's doing it, so you can blame the planet, but it helps you understand the timing of it a little bit more. And so sometimes I'll go back and be able to see when that cycle began. Other things that people sometimes want to know is like what good thing stands out in their chart. So that's another thing we can do, and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Okay, so this is how you get it. You go to, let's see, there we go. Yeah, you go to the link and you click it. It's pinned to the top of the chat, whether you're on mobile or whether you are on your desktop. And then you're going to see this page. So you're going to click book. And then what you do is you put in your first and last name, your phone number, email, and then you put in your birth info, and then click yes, and then enter your question here. Keep in mind, I don't answer every single question there is in the whole universe. Some of the questions that I answer are more like, they're more like, they're just not fortune telling questions. Like, will I win the lottery? And I think a lot of you guys know that, so you guys get it. But you could ask about a planet. Like, let's say you want to know more about your Saturn, or you see this aspect between your Saturn and your Neptune, and you want to know more about it, or between Saturn and your Sun. Any aspect in your chart, you can ask about that aspect, and I can read that aspect for you. You can ask about, a lot of people want to know about career timing or just timing in general. Now, timing is not always going to be like, sometimes I won't see a major thing indicating some huge thing with timing. Let me think what else. Let me think about what else people ask. Also, how are you guys doing today? We had this really, really intense Pluto opposition. And then Mars entered Leo yesterday or the day before. And I did not feel any relief in tension, like at all. So I was disappointed because I really thought that it was going to get less stressful. And that has not been my experience so far. But how do you guys feel from like 1st of November till now, from that new moon until now? How are you guys feeling with the energy? Is it feeling stressful? Is it feeling easy, or exciting, or heavy, or something else? Yeah, so I'm just looking at some kinds of questions you guys can ask if you want to do a live reading. And I'm going to pull up the chart as well. Okay, so, so one of the Kiki's saying feeling like blockages and feeling like not the right time to act. Is there something you're feeling like you want to do, or just feeling more like time to wait it out? Okay. Okay. So I'm giving you guys some more examples of what you could ask. Oh yeah, sometimes people will ask about like an area of life, so you can ask about like finances or yeah, things like that. Um, Zoe's saying thank you. Hey Zoe, are you gonna book one or are you just happy to see me? Which either way is fine. Yeah, like sometimes people want to know about their talents or like if they're on the right track with what kind of work they're doing. So that's something that, people ask or they want to start their own business. So sometimes I can talk about like, like if you want to, if you're trying to start a business and you're not sure, I can't tell you like what to do, right? But I can tell you based on your chart, what I often do is like tell you, kind of like what your rising sign, what your moon, what your sun, what your whatever says about whether you would like to have a business or not and why. Oh yeah, so Kiki's saying, I know what I need to do, but the timing feels wrong. You learn a lot from watching these. That's cool. I'm glad you guys are happy and that you guys learn a lot. I like doing these. I actually started doing these originally because I kind of felt like, how are people going to know I'm good? I kind of felt like, so snakebite, I don't think so because it's not because I don't want to. It's because I don't know D&D well enough. So yeah, that's why. But I love the creativity and it's good to see you again. But every time I see your name, I think of that song. And after we talked last time, I could not get it out of my head. I actually was wanting to, because I listened to that song so many times in middle school that I just was like, it took me back because I haven't heard it since. Anyway, back to what we're doing, which is live readings. I'm trying to think of other questions I've seen people ask on these to give you guys some like formats and some possible examples. If you're having a problem in an area of life, you can book one of these to learn more about when this problem started, how temporary it is, and timing wise, what to expect. Is it going to get worse? Is it already over and you're still dealing with the after effects, but the planetary influences are gone or things like that? You can look at it like a current energy report. So those are probably the most popular. Is most people, they either want to look at their chart and look at what stands out. And I can totally do that. What is probably a big theme in your life? What's probably a big challenge in your life? Things like that. So just what stands out about my natal chart is totally a great question to be asking. And then the other question would be like, what's the current energy? Yeah, and I was also looking at yesterday, I think I was looking at the 2025. We have a lot of planets moving. Pluto will be in Aquarius all year, but almost all the other ones move. Like Saturn moves, Neptune moves, Uranus moves. Not like they don't stay there, but still, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune are all moving signs. It just feels like it'll be an interesting year next year. Lilith in Aries, second house. Okay, so Masmodia. If you want to book on that, you can. Although to be honest, I hate reading Lilith, even though I see the value of it. But yeah, if you want to book on that, you can. And I don't know why I made all those Lilith videos, and then when clients book and they like reading aspects to Lilith, I can't do it. I cannot read aspects to Lilith. And probably because like Lilith is special like the nodes because it's a point in space. It's a lunar apogee, right? So it's not like if you went out to space, you wouldn't find a Lilith. And so because of that, she has sort of like a shadow aspect, a lot like the nodes. And so, yeah, I read Lilith in the sign and house, but not aspects. Okay. All right. So for anyone jumping on, we are doing live readings tonight. You can book your reading using the link in the chat. It is pinned to the top. And you can click that and book your reading. You can ask a question about your chart if you're not sure what to ask. Questions that I recommend, the 2 questions I recommend are, what do you see in my chart? What stands out in my chart? Or what's going on now in the energy, or what energetically in the chart is causing this problem, whatever problem. Or like, am I suited to self-employment? Or you can ask about love. So you can ask about what would my ideal relationship be? What do I need in relationships? We're not going to do the other person's chart, but we can look at your chart and see what you need in relationships. And so these live readings are super fun. So if you're jumping on and you're not trying to get a live reading, I recommend sticking around, hanging out with us, chit-chatting about astrology in the chat until somebody books, because these are so much fun. And it's just super fun to just like get a quick little reading on something. And it's super, I interrupted myself earlier. I was going to tell you guys why I started doing these. When I first started doing lives, I had all these videos on like planets and signs and like the nodes and the signs. And I just thought, no one's going to know I can actually read charts. And so I kind of did it to sort of challenge myself a little bit at the time. And also because I kind of wanted my audience to know that I can actually read a chart, because I think you don't know. Like if you see someone online and they're talking about astrology, especially if they're doing the kind of videos I had mostly back then, which was my videos on like moon signs or moon houses, Saturn signs, that kind of stuff, then you don't know if I'm just reading out of a book or if I'm applying it because it's what I've seen, like you don't know that. And so that's why I started really doing these, to kind of, I wanted people to see me be able to read charts. But now I do them more because sometimes the real reason why I do these is because to go from like watching someone on YouTube to book a whole reading with them is a huge step. And so this helps people see my reading style and kind of think about whether they want to maybe book a reading at some point. Okay, did we get one? Yes, Zoe booked. Okay, wait, is that right? Yes. Zoe, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do that. I like to move the chart when I am adding someone in. So let me put you in. So Zoe's going to be first tonight, and anyone after Zoe, whoever books after Zoe will be next. Okay, yay. Okay, Zoe. Oh, what I want you to do is, okay. I wonder if this will work. Zoe, can you make sure you're on the current moment? It's totally fine if you're not. But I know that I asked that question a long time ago, so I want to make sure you're on the current moment, like of the live. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think you're going to see the chats. I don't know. Okay, I hope so. Those of you watching, if that doesn't make sense, there's a reason I'm saying that. It's because like sometimes people will jump on the live and it'll start at the beginning and we're like 20 minutes in. So then the person is responding to something I said 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm not seeing an answer, which makes me think I'm just going to respond to her email really quick. For anyone else jumping on, you can still book a reading. Okay, so I'm going to just do Zoe's reading anyway, and whoever else is next will be next. Uranus and then Saturn for... Okay, so the big question here was, let me see, do I have the chart up? Oh, yay, you are, yay. Okay, sorry, I wanted to make sure because it's really awkward when the person's not, like it's just, wait, there we go. Oops. Okay. Okay, here we are. We have Zoe's chart up and we have all of this. And so you're asking, will I ever be able to find stable love? Is Saturn in the 7th indicative of that not happening? And Uranus in the 5th house. So, okay, so Uranus in the 5th, okay, these are good questions. And so we're just going to answer these and kind of go through one thing at a time here. Saturn in the 7th doesn't mean you can't find love. It means you're probably either going to be with someone much older or younger than you, age gap, or you will find love later in life. Okay, so I want you to be more hopeful, not less, because wherever you have Saturn, you have to learn it the hard way, which means you have to learn how to be a good partner in order to find love, if that makes sense. And your life probably is going to confirm this, because it's like someone with Saturn in the 7th doesn't just get a commitment. They have to kind of earn it. And I don't mean like putting yourself down in the relationship or like working hard to deserve it in a way that's unhealthy. I mean like learning why people get married and why someone would marry someone else, what their qualities are that they have that you don't have. Learning how, and maybe you're already super nurturing, maybe not, I don't know. But like having to learn the rules, so to speak, of engagement when it comes to relationships in order to get one. So that's the thing, is that there could be something that's like that you don't know, if that makes sense. And I relate to this, but there could be things you don't know about love that you have to learn the hard way. So, I mean, that's not that, hopefully that is a beacon of hope for you, Zoe, because Saturn in the 7th does not mean you can't find love. It means this area will be withheld from you until after either your first Saturn return, which is now-ish, or even the Saturn square. But let's just go with the first Saturn return. Your experience, know that your experience with love is going to be more open, and you and your emotions are going to be more open after that time. And let's look at the transits to give you more of a specific thing. Now, Neptune's on your moon here, making it feel like it'll give you a sense of like you're longing, like pining for love, like, I wish, that kind of thing. And Neptune on your moon will also put you in touch with the ideal of love, like, oh, I'm imagining love, or I have an AI boyfriend, or something else where it's the dream rather than the reality. Now, this is not you. This is just the transit hitting Neptune. I mean, Neptune hitting the moon. That one is a lighter influence than what Saturn's doing. Saturn has not hit your moon yet, but it will. Later, like around April or May. And I just went through this, so don't be too scared. It's just you're more isolated, or you have to work harder or something. Maybe you're away from your friends at that time or something, because the moon rules the 11th. Or someone who normally is nurturing is no longer available. That could be your manager or something. But the point is that after this, once Saturn goes into Aries, which it'll dip back out and dip back in and then dip out again. So like, we're just going to say 2026 it'll be done, and moved on past this point. This is your Saturn return coming up. So that's like a time where it's normal to face and be more aware of the things that aren't working out, which it could be in love, right? So if you're feeling that, it's normal at this time to be feeling that. And then let's talk more about your question. I'm also noticing the moon with Saturn. This is going to make it a little bit harder for you to be vulnerable. But the moon in the 7th will make it really kind of easy once you get to know someone really well. It's like you're going to care about them, but it's almost like Saturn will stop you from showing it. And so part of your Saturn return lessons is probably going to be learning how to show people you care in a way that makes sense for them. And that's what I would encourage you to kind of, if you're feeling down about this, is to work on or look at, just learn the different attachment styles, or, those kind of things that would make you a better communicator of emotions, or a better, more comfortable expressing your feelings to people, because that feels like that's your typical Saturn moon, what it means. Now, Uranus isn't going to hurt your chances of having long-term love being in the 5th. It might make you more impulsive when dating. It might make your love life really fun. It might make you more like people who are have a bunch of tattoos, or counterculture in some way. It might just make you attracted to that. Uranus in the 5th could also be more about your creativity and stuff. But when it comes to your love life, it will spice it up. It'll spice it up. And sorry, I was going to sneeze and then I did not. Okay, so back to this Uranus. Yeah, Uranus will spice it up. It's not going to stop you, because Uranus makes a sign-based sextile to Saturn, and it sextiles the moon. So that kind of does mean, I think if there's anything that's probably going to be hard for you, Zoe, and you can feel free to let me know in the chat if this lands, if this resonates, is like love versus the idea of love versus the actual experience of it. Like with Neptune in the 5th, Moon in Pisces in the 7th, there might be feelings like you want a partner who's way hotter than you, or like you fantasize about people, and you sometimes the fantasy is better than the reality, kind of a thing. It's like it's easier to dream about love than it is to take the next steps in love, or to know what to do when someone is flirting with you. It's just easier to kind of imagine it. Now, that might not be totally how this shows up with Neptune on the 5th. You could also find that or in the fifth. When it comes to dating, you might really have to make yourself focus on it, because with Neptune here, you won't want to focus on it. You will want to meander, and you know, your mind will want to go elsewhere, and you'll want to like just not be focusing. Neptune in the fifth is like, oh yeah, I was texting this guy, and then you just forget to send the message, or something like that. And so the dating life for that reason can have that energy around like, okay, I see. Okay. Yeah. So the dating life can have that energy around like just kind of going up into a puff of smoke. It doesn't mean you can't date. It just means when you're dating, if you really are serious about it, you might have to kind of make yourself stick with it, make yourself keep doing it. Okay, so let's see this. The fantasy gets smashed. Yes. I'm saying it like that because I get you. I get you. And yes, that is exactly what it is that when you really like someone, it's like, sometimes it's hard to face the realities of love, like getting in a fight with a partner and stuff like that. It's like you have to really work at it. But with Saturn here, you can, right? So this might help with sort of balancing out the tendency to idealize the person and want to just daydream about them and think about how hot they are, how nice they are, you know, and then it's like, oh, you need me to like actually, I don't know, shave my legs? Fuck. You know, or whatever it is. Then it's like, oh, you have to put in work, right? Because wherever we have Pisces, we tend to want things to be more easy. And then wherever we have Neptune, we also want things to be more easy. So I would say you do need a partner who brings ease, who is especially either open or, you know, not rigid and uptight when it comes to like the bedroom and stuff, because that Neptune ruling and Neptune in the fifth is like, they need to bring ease to the sexual side and the flirting side. They can't be all business, serious, you know, against intimacy, because you're going to need someone who kind of goes with the flow in that way and makes you feel like you can go with the flow too. And then, yeah, so that was the answer to Saturn. And then just really quick, you have Jupiter in the fourth. So your seventh ruler is Jupiter in Sagittarius. So this is a plus for matters of long-term relationships going relatively well when Jupiter is activated by transit, because it's like it's in a good spot. So like that's the real thing that we're looking at to see if someone's love is gonna kind of go well for them. So if I was looking at that, Saturn doesn't make it less possible. It makes it, again, you have to work for it. And again, the kind of work can be like figuring out what married people are doing right. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I would say for that. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to stop there just because our timer went off a while ago. So thank you, Zoe, for booking your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. And anyone else who wants to book, we do have openings now. So the next person to book will be the next chart I read. And I also have a couple of announcements. One is that you can get a 50% off a reading. Actually, I'm going to close it down tonight. I made some announcements to my email list on this, and I just thought I'd wait until after this live to close it down. And so I'm actually going to drop the link for that as soon as I can grab it. And then the other announcement is that I will be doing a workshop on Saturn. And to know more about that, just get on my email list. An email is going to come out tomorrow kind of announcing it. So if you want a chance to do that with me, you should do that. Okay, so here's the link for 50% off. Oh, cool. I'm glad, Zoe. And then that's for a full hour with me. And then anyone else here who is watching can do that. Okay, Snakebite. I see your question. You really want this D&D thing, don't you? We can try it. Yeah, let's try it for fun. But it's going to be you. But just know you have a Saturn Mercury person you're asking to do this. And if you don't know what that means I don't have a lot of creative energy to work with over here. Yeah, if you want to Snakebite, you totally can. Well, T. Thompson, how nice for you. Did that resonate for you? Do you want to share? Let's go. I'm going to move it to the transits here. And then, yeah, so Marcus, we are doing live readings tonight that you can book. So if you want to, you can. Stellium and Aries, great. And then, yes, for anyone else jumping on, we have read one chart tonight, and yours could be next. If you want to be, you can book using the link in the top of the chat. And that is what we're doing. So common questions are things like, what do you see in my chart? If you're brand new and you've never worked with me, that's always a nice place to start. I can always also read your ascendant ruler. If you're like, you don't know what to ask for, the ascendant ruler is the life story. So it's going to tell you about the story of your life. And that story might be easy, or it might be difficult, or it might have a bunch of things going on. But it's going to tell you about the energy of your life. And yeah, that's what it's going to do. So the ascendant ruler is always a nice thing to ask. Sometimes people will book and they'll ask like, what was I going to say? Oh, they'll ask like, what do you see in my chart? And we can do that. Other people will ask about a specific problem that's going on that they want to solve. Some people are going to ask about like an aspect, but keep in mind that I read in whole sign. I read traditional Western astrology and some modern in whole sign. And although I don't know everything about traditional, so I started learning modern, and then I have added more and more traditional techniques, but I don't know all of them. So don't expect me to know every single thing about besiegement or whatever. Yeah, or then like Zoe just asked about her relationship. So you can always ask about relationships. I still feel like I'm going to sneeze, but I'm just not. Okay, Snakebite, we're going to do it. Let me get your chart. So Snakebite just booked. Anyone else who books next will be after Snakebite. So I think what I put you in here as Snakebite. Perfect. Okay, we're going to test my creative ability. I hope I don't fail miserably at this. If I do, you can ask another question. Okay, so let me put it back up here. Oh, wait, yes. Fun. Yeah, what's that? Okay. So Snakebite asked, let me go back to your question. If I was to write a character with this chart, what can you tell me about this character? Would that work as a question? Okay. So this character is brooding, and you won't see them coming when it comes to their strategy. They are, let me see, intuitive and very, very wise. So this is like Gandalf the Grey. But also a sniper at the same time, who just wants to cheer you up. And also, so these are super hard to describe as a character because it's almost like this character is going to be described through the people around them, not necessarily their own self. So this is like, this character might be like Gandalf with a sniper, just in case, who has all these little students. Like I almost think of these as little, like 4 little dwarves that they're taking care of. This is going to get weird. And who also does interpretive dance as their and performs it. Did I tell you about this Mars and why it's special? Okay, so we got all that. And what else? Who has some inner tension? This character has some inner tension between their desire for privacy versus attention. So this character goes up and does their interpretive dance and then flips out and has a meltdown and like is like, I can't do it on the way to the stage, and then they do it. Oh, you guys like this? This is so hard for me. Saturn, Mercury over here. Okay. And then they might have had like sort of a stint of living in the woods by themselves in a cottage because they just can't do money. They don't want to do money, right? Like, they're probably, okay, so this Gandalf with the machete doesn't want to spend money on anything, so all his machetes are really old. I mean, I said sniper earlier, and now I said machete, but he has weapons, okay? And there's like a stash, but they're super old and falling apart because he doesn't want to buy the stuff to take care of them. Oh, this is new. We should do this as like a regular thing. So this character also, let me see. Oh yeah, and then when he gets okay, this character can dance though, and the dance is like enchanting, and it makes everyone fall asleep, or like it spellbinds people, right? Because that Neptune. So this character, their weapon is a spellbinding dance that like puts their whatever opponent into a trance. And what else? Oh, well, we could do, yeah, this is all more Gandalf the Grey energy of like, so when they live in the cottage and they don't have money for their weapons and all their weapons are falling apart, they have visitors, right? They have like these little dwarves who come visit them, and one is jolly, one is chatty, one is space cadet, and one is pretty, So there's jolly, pretty, chatty, and spacey. And they all come to get wisdom and see what they can learn from this very intuitive character. Glorious. Okay. What about Uranus, though? So this character has like, maybe it dies and then it comes back as a new character. Okay, Zoe, I got you for that one-on-one. Cool. Okay, so then he dies. He comes back as a new character over and over, and like totally a different version of himself. Because that Uranus in the 6, it's like going to change it. He'll have like, he'll just have different chapters that are like totally different than anything before. But he also is trying to climb the ladder of success. And he struggles with that because he won't spend the money. Okay, so I think I will stop there just because of time on that one. I hope that was actually fun. Yeah, let me know. Snakebite was, and I could see you said like so true and glorious. So, see how hard this is. Oh wait, why do you write D&D characters or you make them? I can't remember. I think you said something last time. My fantasy lore knowledge is quite limited. Although I will waste a shitload of my time playing video games if I let myself. I'm sucked into this one on my phone and it's not good. Oh, a pseudo biography based in D&D. So is it like you're writing the story and you're gonna publish it, that kind of thing? Okay, so for anyone else jumping on, you guys can book now if you would like to. There's openings, so anyone who books now will be next. And let's see what else here. Oh, okay. More like a memoir. Yeah, cool. It would be hard, but also really fun. I see. Okay. That would be a project for sure. And for this question, I don't usually do questions like this, but have you been to Sedona? I'm not saying it for like the business potential as much as just if you're looking for an ideal place and you think of yourself as a new earth entrepreneur, I recommend going there for sure. Before Pluto hits your north node. Well, you've got some time. Wait, where is it? Yeah, you got years. Who knows? Maybe something will transpire at that point. Okay, I'm going to put it back on transits now. And for anyone watching, we are doing live readings, and we are you can ask a question, but if it's a very out of the box question, you need to see if it's something I do first, like Snakebite just did. But then some questions that people often ask are like, sometimes people just ask, what do you see in my chart? And that's fine. And then, and thank you for that. And then what else? What else do people ask? Why do I have to think of this every time? Like it's hard. People ask, what do you see in my chart? If you haven't gotten a reading, you can ask about a certain aspect or set of planets. You know, sometimes there's like a Pluto, Neptune, something, or there's like a Uranus Saturn conjunction and it's hard to read. So like if you have a stellium, you can ask me to read your stellium. If you have another feature in your chart that you would like to make sense of that is hard for you to read yourself, these are good for that. These are good for you if you want to know about the current energy. If you want to know, if you're having a challenge right now and you want to know more about maybe when that might clear up or what might be causing it, or if you're having a long-term challenge, kind of like Zoe did earlier, where if you have a long-term challenge in an area of life and you want to see what does your chart say about that? What does your chart say about love? What does your chart say about money? What does your chart say about reaching your highest potential? Or, are you suited to self-employment? We talk about that a lot in my readings with people because people want to know if they can do it, or if, I remember that feeling when I was like reading tarot at a crystal shop and I would not, if no clients came in, I wouldn't get paid. And like, I was working at a burger place part-time, and I wish I had someone like me back then who would have just said like, do it. Actually, I did. Now that I think about it, I did. Okay. So, that's what we are doing. Also, okay, so let's just talk about the energy because we have the chart up for a second. So Mars was in the end of Cancer, opposite Pluto until the 3rd, which I thought meant that on the 4th we would see less stress. I did not feel less stress personally, and this isn't even on my planets. Like, this isn't even on anything. Like, none of these planets are aspecting anything on my chart. So for those of you who have things that late Cancer and late Capricorn, late Aries and late Libra, wait, is that right? Yes. How are you feeling? Did you feel some relief the last couple days from that opposition? We're going to see it again, though, because it's going to come back. And of course, I talked about that a bit in the monthly. But yeah, we're doing live readings. I'll be hanging out for just a little bit longer. That's what we're doing. Okay, so yeah, some of the topics, I'm trying to think of all the things I've ever done in one of these. So like some of the things that we'll do is like we'll look at your relationship. We can look at your ideal relationship based on the ruler of your 7th house, where it's at in the chart, and then what that means. And then we combine that with the 5th house. Just to see like what you need in love. We can look at your ascendant ruler, your life story, and just see what is your life story, what does it involve, and what energies are affecting you the most. And sometimes that involves like uncovering a challenge. Like, do you have Neptune challenges? Do you have challenges that are like being a space cadet? Do you have challenges that are like I'm being a space cadet right now. Challenges where everyone's against you and things just don't happen, or life is hard? Or do you have challenges where you don't fit in? Do you have Uranus challenges where it's like not fitting in, or it's like that planet or that energy of the things that Uranus touching your chart is going to be start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. You can feel like you're doing something wrong. But like, for example, let's just say, for example, someone has Uranus in a connection to their money planet. Then they might like have starts and stops in jobs all the freaking time, or they could put that into something. They can channel that energy. That maybe they're a better freelancer. Sometimes people with Uranus, like in their second house, are like freelancers or big business owners, where the way they make their money is all at one time. It's like bam, it's just coming all at once, and that's something that sometimes does happen. And so that's an example of how, when I'm reading a chart, I can see which area of life is going to have that start and stop energy, which area of life you're going to be a space cadet and you're going to need to focus more if you want to ever accomplish anything, but you can be more creative. That's your Neptune area. What area of life with Saturn is it just going to feel harder until you get older? But there's also hope with that, because if you know that, then you know that when you're young, you're not doing something wrong. You just have Saturn attached to that thing. And it's like Saturn puts you in jail of that thing. So if Saturn is with your money planet, Saturn puts you in money jail when you're young. If Saturn is with your career planet, well, then Saturn puts you in career jail, which is different because it's more about not feeling like you can find the right work, or not feeling like you're living out your highest potential. And then, getting stuck in jobs where you're at the bottom all the time. And then, like if Saturn's in your relationship house, then sometimes you'll find love later in life, but it's like you're in love jail. When you're young, it feels like that, but it's invisible jail and you don't know why it's there. But once you know Saturn's there, it's not like, oh yay, Saturn's there. But it does, sometimes it's validating, right? That's what I think. I think it's validating because, well, and even whether you're super optimistic or super pessimistic, we're going to see that in the chart too. Is it Shishi or Shai? What about the 11th house? Yeah, the 11th house. That matters too. The 11th house is going to tell us about like our friends and the groups we belong to. And if you're on social media, it'll be your audience. So for anyone else jumping on, I always get like insanely thirsty on these. Yeah, for anyone else jumping on, we are doing live readings. You can still book. We've gotten a couple, which was super fun. We had a couple really super fun ones. And now we are open for more. So if you guys want to get yours, you can. You can do that using the link at the top of the chat, and you can ask questions. You can ask a question, but if it's a very, very specific question, you need to ask me in the chat first, just to make sure it's something I can read. And then I can tell you if it's not, what I can do instead. And then it's up to you if you want to do it. But we can do like what stands out in my chart, or if you have a problem, we can look at what's causing that problem. Or we could look at your relationships. We could look at like your ideal relationship or your ideal career. So that's another one people usually like to do, is like their ideal career. Of course, this is a mini reading, so it's going to be some of your ideal career and some of your ideal relationship, because, okay, people don't know this sometimes, but like this is a chart of right now. But I could read, if someone was born with this chart, I could read this whole chart for relationships, every single planet. I could read the sun for what the sun in Scorpio is like in a relationship. Trine Saturn in the 10th. They're going to be a workaholic, by the way. And they're going to love it. So not workaholic in the negative sense. And then we can read the moon for love. Moon in Capricorn doesn't want to share their emotions. They just want you to know they exist. They don't want to tell you they have needs. But then they're also really good at like giving you something you need without having to get all emotional and warm and fuzzy about it when it's not necessary. So they can be really good at like loving you in a practical way. And blah, 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 etc., etc. Like you can read the whole chart for love. You can read the whole chart for career. I feel like people don't know that. Now, I mean, I'm not going to read the midheaven for love, but the midheaven ruler is probably ruling something else that has to do with love, because the way you are in your professional life is still going to affect your love life. And every single planet in the chart, we can look at Venus in Sag for love. We can look at Venus in Sag for money. And then in this person's chart, we could look at Venus in Sag for their relationships. Even more so because it rules their 5th house of dating. But then we could also look at it for their 12th house of their unconscious shadow, that how they self-sabotage. It's all, and they're two totally different things, that 12th house thing and the 5th house thing. So this is how astrologers can read your chart in so many different ways. Hey Morty, you are totally welcome to book. These live readings you have to pay. So if you'd like to do that, you absolutely can. Yeah, I could answer that if you wanted to. I am going to delete your comment though, because it has info in it that I don't want people to see. But there's nothing wrong with it. I'm not unhappy with it. It just, yeah, I don't want anyone else to see that much information about anyone. But that's actually why I do these as, I make you guys use the link and go off of YouTube because of privacy concerns. And the concern is that someone will report the video. I mean, I don't think people can do that much with just your birth info. I think they need more to like steal your identity, but still, that is how I feel about that. Okay, so for anyone else jumping on, we have a little bit more time. So if anyone else wants to go next, they can. And yeah, so that's what we're doing. And I'm just going to hang out for a second. Okay, so it looks like Rashida. Do you want to chat in the YouTube chat so I know which one you are? And I will enter your info here. Oh, okay. Is that you? She, I get it. Okay, so let me enter your info. Oh, cool, Cody. That is awesome. That is awesome. Luke is saying this is lovely. I don't know what that is about. Okay, let me focus. Okay, I'm adding you. And I'm going to add the chart, but double check and make sure it looks right with the ascendant degree, which is 9. Who are you talking about that was born on a void of course moon? That wasn't my chart. That was the chart of the moment. Okay, on to Shishi. And let me see the question. Is growing too slow? Is this the right career? Let's see what we can see about what might be leading to that slow growth. And where's Saturn and what it's doing. All right, so you have your second ruler, your money planet in the 11th with the South Node. So that makes it hard. Makes it hard to make money because you don't want to. South Node Saturn, South Node with the money planet means you want to go be a monk in a cave and meditate all day and not have to think about money. The South Node will take you out of that materialistic way of being that you need in order to make money. But Mars in the second means you can make money if you work hard for it. So I would say that, do you have what it takes to like be an entrepreneur? Absolutely. With all this Capricorn and with Mars in the second and with your ascendant ruler in the 11th, yes, absolutely. But it might be that, I mean, I could see that you don't want to do social media. It's like the energy's there, but it's not, the energy is anti. The energy is fear of and not wanting to do those things because Saturn rules what we're afraid of as well. And so Saturn in the 11th is going to be like someone who does not want to be seen in public or someone who does not want to like someone who doesn't want to do a social media or have a presence. It's like you'd rather just not exist on social in the first place. But let's look at where Venus is. Oh, look. Pluto has been transforming your career because Venus rules in midheaven. So Pluto's been transforming your career. That transformation is going to be ending. That I don't think that means it'll magically speed up. I think that means that it will stop. It like think about the last year of your life and how has doing this business made you feel more authentic or less, but probably more. And how has this been a step toward you doing what you want with your life? I mean, didn't you pursue this because you wanted to? And look, it's the midheaven is ruled by Venus. And you have, oh, hey, let me check my little cheat sheet here. I think you have Jupiter conjunct Vega. Yeah. And you have Jupiter conjunct Vega, which is a fixed star. You can't see it on here, but it's here, 15 degrees of Capricorn. That rules enchantment and the arts. So doing something like, are you doing the, Shishi, do you like it? I feel like you probably love clothing or making clothing or like the structure of the patterns or the structure of the business. Like your chart screams clothing business. Like and if I didn't know you, I would say that, I would ask, like, do you want to do something structured with fashion or with beauty or with perfume or with something like that? Like I would ask that because you have that Vega really adds to the creativity and the ability to kind of like, this is a special placement that not everyone has. So like there's a gift here, there's a skill here. And then what I would say is this is probably a transit, because the South Node is conjunct your midheaven. And in transit, you will feel sick of your public image. You will just be over it. You won't want anything to do with it. You'll want to get out of the public eye. You'll want to, yes. And to be able to not, and like, yeah, style people, right? With like seeing the whole look and putting the whole structure together and everything. Yeah, like this is definitely a gift. And that South Node on your midheaven is going to make you feel like sick of the material world and sick of trying to reach the top of the mountain, and sick of, if you have managers and stuff that you have to deal with, you'll be sick of that too. And it'll make you sick of like everything that has to do with an image. So you're literally asking me, I love it when this happens. You're literally asking me the question that this planet, it's the node, is doing, and you're coming into this. So this feeling of like, I'm sick of it. It's going too slow, but not just that it's going too slow, but like I'm tired of the public image part of it is going to continue, and it's going to be at its peak the first couple weeks of December. So I would say don't make any major decisions on that feeling, because that's the South Node going past that point. Now, the whole time it's in the 10th house, it can make you kind of feel like you'd rather just be home in your bed in general. It doesn't like, it's not necessarily going to destroy your career, but it will take energy away from that. And you'll be wanting to care more about your emotional fulfillment. I don't think this means leave your career. You could have a temporary walking away, but this would be a temporary, not a you're in the wrong job kind of a thing. I also like being in the background. Yeah, I could see you being like more of the, you could be the face of it, but you could also be like the powerhouse behind getting it moving, right? And be like delegating and stuff as well. And with the moon in the 6th, you're going to care about your work product. And Jupiter is bringing maybe more. It does kind of feel like Jupiter here is bringing a little bit more work. What is stopping the money from flowing? That's what I want to know. Let me think here. Yeah, I mean, it could just be that I'm thinking about what year you're in right now. So you're in a second house year, so that's going to be Saturn's ruling it, and Saturn's with the South Node. Okay, this is when you don't have energy. These are the times. This is, and even if the last 2 years, like I feel like, and think about from your birthday, which is next month. So like from last December till now, working really hard, and it's that Saturn square. Working really hard, but not necessarily getting the results of what you're putting in, or feeling like it's not worth it. So I would say, see what happens next year. Because next year is a Jupiter year, and that Jupiter conjunct Vega is highlighted, right? That Vega conjunction is going to show up next year. I'm not guaranteeing like something amazing, but that energy is going to shift so much on your birthday that like it's not even funny. So I would say don't feel like, I would not base, it's totally fine to be like, I want to stop right now, if you do, and if that's your choice, whichever choice you make. But you might want to start again in a month when everything happens, because It's Jupiter's activated, so that's a third house year. They tend to be busy. And then Jupiter is with Venus, Neptune, Mercury, and there's no bad planets here messing it up. Mars isn't messing it up. Saturn's sextile, so it's not going to do that much to mess it up either. So I think next year the energy is going to move and things are going to get accomplished. So I don't know what you need to do now. Whatever you need to do is fine. And Jupiter in the 6th might have you like having a part-time job for a little bit if you have to, or something. But it doesn't feel to me, and let me know how you feel. It doesn't feel to me like you really want to give up. It feels like it just isn't working and you haven't overcome the obstacle. Based on how you ask the question and based on, this is Saturn square energy, Saturn square Mars. It's, I want to go, but I have to stop. And Uranus is hitting Mars, so it's like, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. You do something, there's an obstacle. You get inspired behind the scenes and then you can't launch the product or something. So I think that's going to be, I think that the energy will shift next year a bit. And I think that not only will the energy shift, but you're also coming into, sometimes during the Saturn trine, something good will come out of what you overcame during the Saturn square. So March is when Saturn trines Saturn. But then for you, the Saturn square was around March of 2022. So if that is around when you started, and it might not be, but if it is, then I would like see it through if I could, just at least to see what's happening then. Okay, I think we'll stop there. I know the timer went off a long time ago, but I wanted to finish that thought. Yeah, well, and I wonder too, okay, so I actually have more to say here. I wonder do you want to do it but not online? If the social media not being for you part is the only thing stopping you, I just want to confirm that making clothes and, being behind the scenes and styling people is the right thing to be doing. So you can either overcome the fear of social media and just go for it, or find another, I think you could find another way to get clients if you wanted to. I don't have the expertise to tell you how to do that. But you're in the right type of job. It's just maybe you will quit the online and you'll start an actual boutique in person or something, or just styling people in their houses or something where you can make that first impression and then go from there. Okay, so let's see. We have another reading, so I'm going to go on to Emily now. So thank you so much, Rashida. I hope that, yeah, exactly. You're on the right path with that side of it. Absolutely. Xavier's here. Hello. Fixed star. The fixed star is called Vega, Vega. And that is at 15 degrees of Capricorn, which is conjunct your natal Jupiter in your first house. Okay, so I'm going to go on now to Emily. We have 6 more minutes for anyone else who wants to book tonight. The booking closes soon. And let me get Emily here. These are so fun to do. Let's see if I have you in here, Emily. And tell me, you said help, but tell me about your career if you want. Oh, maybe I have you. Is that you? Okay, yep, I do have you in here. Oh, Emily, no problem. Why don't you fill me in now on what you want to know about your career? And you got your spot. um, Here we go. And all right, so we're on the last call for anyone else who wants to book tonight, but we still have Emily, and then we also have, if anyone else books next, whoever else books next will get their reading tonight. Okay. Well, I'm just going to start, and if you fill me in, Emily, we'll go from there. So we have Uranus let's just see if Uranus already hit your midheaven before. No, it came close. So Uranus is approaching your midheaven. Usually this is a change to your career that is kind of a sudden thing, but it's like what it will do is it will make you want to be the most authentic and free when it comes to your career. And that's happening in June. So if you're wanting to change something or you're asking, when will I get fresh energy? Lots of fresh energy coming in. And, Jupiter has been in that 10th house, maybe making you feel a little bit like, ooh, shiny syndrome when it comes to work and your tasks, and just feel a bit scattered and all over the place. Although it's like, it's a time to focus on growth, but it's also, you can feel like you can't focus on what's going on. But right now, Jupiter is conjunct your natal Venus in Gemini. And that's going to be ruling your money and your ninth house. So it's like, are you making money right now? Did you just make some money? Because like, this would be like, actually, this might be, I'm going to the day. Sometimes a retrograde isn't like a boon like that, but it's possible on the 13th you can make some money. 13th, 14th, have growth in your finances. But let's see what was happening before this. All right, around early September, did you make some more money? If yes, like around the 5th of September, like selling a big thing or something, then that can be happening again. What kind of growth was happening with your finances back on the 5th of September? You might be going back over that decision and feeling, if you're feeling like you regret that or it needs to change or something, that could be happening. But it could also be just going back over or recollecting data or like gathering information from that time. And then whatever was happening then is going to happen again on the 20th of April. So I do see a potential for a raise or a bonus or some other, if it's your business, a sale or something. And then what else do I see? Oh, Mars is hitting Mercury right now, which is going to stimulate you. It's going to make you, okay, are you overthinking the last couple days? If you are, Mars is right on top of that Mercury in the 12th. Now, this could be showing up in a positive way if you're like writing something by yourself or doing some work in private and it's just sped up. But it does feel like the stress could be on right now to produce something or accomplish something. Work front desk at a pediatric office. Okay, that's fine. So then what do you want to know about your career? Did you make more money back on September 5th? Did you get a bonus? Do you have a lot more work going on right now? Because being like in an office like that with Jupiter in the 10th could be like just having more on your plate to do. Oh yeah, so I see another one coming in maybe April. Another unexpected check or something like that. Been writing and painting, channeling. Great. Okay, great. Okay, well, I'm going to keep talking. I don't know what your question is, but I'm just going to keep telling you stuff. Yeah, so that since you work at the front desk, if you're not happy in your career, I do see that that is going to be an issue later. It's not something you have to do anything about now, but if you hate it with a passion, that will be something you're really going to feel that when Uranus hits your midheaven. That's going to be in June. It doesn't mean you have to do anything about that by then, but like to listen to those feelings because they're going to get louder, not quieter. And then, what else? I do think that for career, that's kind of a huge deal. Okay, so let's talk about the channeling because painting, channeling, writing, Mars hitting Mercury, that's really speeding that up, but Mars is going to retrograde in early December at 6 degrees. And then it's going to come back and it's going to go back on that Mercury. So I bet you're going to be writing, spending time to yourself, and then going back over something you're writing or doing in private or work that you're doing behind the scenes. And then that will be something that comes up again later. So because Mars goes retrograde, that sudden inspiration or pressure will happen again in around May as well. Work-life creative balance. What is the question? Like you don't have work-life balance right now and you want to know how to get it? For everyone else jumping on, and I'm not done with you yet, Emily. For everyone else jumping on, this is our last reading, but if anyone is feeling sad about that because you wanted to get a chance with me, it is the last chance to get 50% off of your reading, your reading. So I'm going to put a link in the chat for that. Okay. So right now the balance is going more towards work if you're thinking about work-life balance because Jupiter's in that 10th house, just scattering it, making it busier. I think when Jupiter moves into, well, first of all, Jupiter will go retrograde. It is retrograde. It went retrograde. I don't remember when. I should, but I don't. It will go direct again in February. Work might speed up again. Then April, that's when I see some other bonus or something. And then in June is when Jupiter will enter Cancer. This might be the time where you have the home life balance, because Jupiter in Cancer is very nice. And I'll tell you, and we'll end with this, but I'll tell you what Jupiter in Cancer could do for you, since you have family and stuff. Because, I mean, Jupiter in Cancer is good for family, and your sun is there, so it's just going to feed the sun all this good energy. And I'll tell you when this happened before, because normally it's going to give you like a good time with friends, or maybe possibly sometimes it's financial, but it's like hooking in with communities. Things related to home and relationship tend to go well, especially because Jupiter rules your 7th house. So if you're married or you have a long-term partner, this can be things with them going better and having more connection. If you're not, then it could be a good time to meet someone. So that's looking like July 4th, 2013 till about a year later, about July 4th, 2014 roughly. You can think about what was happening during those times related to your friends, your money, your friends, money, relationships, nurturing, home, feeling supported, that kind of thing. So I'm not saying you can't have any kind of support. I do think that your downtime that you do have, that you're writing and stuff, is going to be a nice thing to do, and to help you kind of cope with whatever stressors might be happening with work. And Mars right now, like today, yesterday, is sextiling your Mars in the 10th, which could just make you more busy at work and make you feel more stress and pressure. So if some of that stress and pressure has been the last couple days, then that's kind of good news, because that means that it should just slow down and down and down and down until January, where there's gonna be other things to be concerned about. Yes, and not really be concerned about, but just like Mars won't be putting that pressure on how much you have to get done, because that Mars in Gemini in the 10th is like a job where you have to get a bunch of stuff done, and you multitask, but you can do it because you've got Mars there and you can do it, and Mars likes to be busy. Okay, we're going to stop there just because of time. I hope that was helpful. And for anyone else who who wishes they got a chance to book with me and didn't, or something like that, there is a link in the chat, and I'm going to make sure it's I'll put it on a comment after the video is done being live. I'll just put it on a comment. And then you can click that link to book if you want to get 50% off, which I'm closing it down tonight. I already announced it to the list, my email list, for yesterday. And if you want to know when I do a sale again or something, then you can just join my email list, and you'll get all my emails. You'll know when I do a sale. You'll get my free guide to your midheaven that helps you align with your midheaven. You'll get a bunch of stories from me, reminders when I go live, notifications whenever I'm doing something, an event or anything, which I'm going to be announcing one for Saturn tomorrow. So join my email list, get on it, and let me make sure there's a link. There should be. What am I doing with my life here? I'm going to add a link because it should just be on there and it's not. I'm going to add the link to join, to get the free guide aligned with your midheaven. Oh, thanks, Cody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so I'm going to add that link, and It's in the chat. I'll make sure it's also in the comments if you're not live. And if you haven't seen the November reading, the monthly is up. And there's lots of other videos to watch. So it was nice to connect with you all, beautiful souls. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.